Afternoon, Mikel.
Hello.
Arsenal versus Liverpool tomorrow. The reigning champions, they come to your house. What is the mood around the training ground, the coaching staff, the players, yourself?
I was very excited. A massive game against obviously the champions of the last Premier League, and yeah, we have a point to prove. We're gonna have our crowd, our supporters, very early before 8 o'clock. Everybody there, creating an amazing atmosphere, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, a big atmosphere expected at the Emirates, as you said. It sounds like there's planned for a big stadium mural when the players come out of the tunnel. How much are you calling on your supporters to deliver a result for you tomorrow?
They've been unbelievable again this season, and it makes such a difference. We become a different team. The level of energy, commitment, confidence, desire that we can show in every action is transmitted by them, and we need them tomorrow in every ball.
Yeah, can I ask for a bit of team news? Riccardo, Calafiori and Cristhian Mosquera, they're out against Bournemouth. Are they close to being back?
No, they're out again.
When can we see them back? What stage are they at?
I think pretty soon they have to go to the last stage of the rehab, and if everything goes well, hopefully very soon they will be available for selection.
Yeah, and just finally for me, this is the first time we're hearing from you since Ruben Amorim left his job as Manchester United head coach. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually used Arsenal standing by you as an example, as a reason why Amorim should get 3 years in charge, and obviously he didn't get that time. So what does that say about the support and the trust that the club put in you during the first difficult 12 to 18 months during the time?
Yeah, I can only talk about what I have experienced, and it's always sad to see a colleague losing his job, obviously. We know where we are, and yeah, I think you need support from ownership, and support from your staff, from players. At the end of the game, you need to win a lot of football matches if you want to stay in the job, and that's the reality and the nature of our job.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mikel. You mentioned there being a point to prove when you play Liverpool. Is that sort of a case of the fact that they beat you narrowly in that game back in August, or more to do with the fact that you are leading the table at the moment, and that's, you know, a statement if you were to beat the champions?
Yes, I mean, we are top of the table. We play at home against a really, really good opponent, and we want to maintain our position. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to be excellent throughout the game to deserve to win the game, and that's the point we have to prove.
Arne Slot said this morning that he feels that this is the best Arsenal side that there has been in the last couple of years. It seems like an obvious question because you are leading the league by 6 points, but do you feel this is the best Arsenal team that you've assembled and developed, and if so, what makes this team so special?
I don't know. I don't like really comparing, and I think every week the team is different because the players available are different, the position is different. So, yeah, maintain a lot of the great things that the team is doing, the individuals are doing, and consistency is going to be the key to that. And we know the difficulty of every game, and we are approaching that with a lot of excitement, understanding where we are, and with a huge desire that we have to achieve what we want to do in May.
They're on a 9-game unbeaten run, Liverpool. Obviously, they had that good start to the season where they were winning games, but you know, quite narrowly in a lot of the matches. Obviously, they are unbeaten, but perhaps they're not playing their best football. So how do you view the Liverpool side that you're going to be taking on tomorrow?
Well, the margins, I think, for all of us are very small. We always talk about that, and yeah, they have a great manager. They have a sensational structure, understanding what they have to do in relation to the players that they select tomorrow in the lineup. They can play in different ways because at the end, those will make them a little bit different and more specific to what we can expect tomorrow. And we have to be conscious of that and then focus on what we have to do.
Alex BBC.
Hi. Can I just ask about Kai Havertz? He was on the bench against Aston Villa, but then not against Bournemouth. How is he getting on with his rehab and return to play? Yeah,
we are monitoring. Obviously, his load has been out for a long time for 2 different reasons, and yeah, he's very close. He trained this morning again, and hopefully we're going to have him available and the best version of Kai very soon.
You had good wins in matches against Newcastle away from home, West Ham at home, and Brighton as well. Teams you dropped points against last season. Drew against Liverpool at home, a game you probably should have won last season as well. Is it another chance to show the progression you've made this campaign?
Yes, at the end we want to win every game, and the most important one is obviously tomorrow's, and we know what we have to do to beat them, and now we have to prove it on the pitch.
Okay. Cristhian from Arsenal.
Hi, Mikel. Leandro Trossard was voted Player of the Month for December recently. What's kind of been behind his fantastic form lately?
Well, first of all, I think his level of understanding and consistency. He's got ability, but the level of consistency he's showing this season in particular, I think has been exceptional. I think he's really clicking with the team in every aspect of the game, and is a player that provides something different to what we have.
And you've spoken about the role that supporters will play tomorrow. What's that actually like when you've got such a huge crowd right behind you? Can you remember from your playing days what it actually feels like?
There's nothing like it. I mean, you become a different player. Your emotional status is better, your energy level is better, your confidence is better. They thrive you to get actions with a lot of aggression, with a lot of determination, and that lifts the whole team. So that's what we have to provide tomorrow.
Matt, Evening Standard.
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
Considering how good Liverpool were last season and the signings they made in the summer, did you expect them to be your sort of main rivals in the title race?
Well, yeah, but obviously that's on paper. But I still think that they are running a superb team, and what they've done as well. And you have to understand as well the context that they had with certain injuries and the difficulty of the league for all of us. But my opinion hasn't changed about them.
And after that Anfield match, there was sort of a lot of talk about whether the team were too cautious to compete with Liverpool. Were you confident you'd always sort of prove that wrong over the course of the season?
I don't know. We always prepare the games to beat them in the best possible manner, in the way that we believe is going to give us the best chance to do that.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Right at the start of this press conference, you just said you feel like there's a point to prove. So I was just wondering what that point is in your head.
We can go again and again. I mean, every week we have a point to prove. We had it a few days ago against Bournemouth after a great win against Villa, and it's going to continue like that till May. And we know that because once we are in the position that we are in, we want to maintain and extend the lead that we have. And in order to do that, our level of determination and desire has to be with that mindset.
In terms of maintaining that through, I guess, weeks where you're playing every 3 days, how do you keep, I guess, everyone, not just players but staff, on that kind of goal, if that makes sense?
Well, we all want it that much that that's what is driving everybody, and that's the superb quality that we have within the club, staff and players especially, because we know what it's going to take to achieve what we want.
And this is maybe a bit of a random one, but I noticed that Martin Zubimendi, Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice were all born within 2 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, with those three, when they play, they all seem to gel quite well. And I was wondering if their ages have
So
any...
they started to connect
Yeah,
since their birth, yeah?
But how you see
Let me investigate about that, and I can come back to you in a few weeks.
Yeah, but how do you see them, I guess, as a trio, both on and on? On
Well,
and off, sorry.
It's a great point. So maybe it's something that we have to think about. It's very clear and obvious that they click, they understand each other really well, they complement each other exceptionally well, and that's something that we believe that we could achieve before we brought them together, and now they are doing it.
James, anything?
Mikel, Amorim and Maresca, they both left their jobs after speaking about the sort of frustrations with the head coach model. You were hired here, obviously, as head coach, and then you became manager. And I know every club's different, but for you, what difference did that make going from head coach to manager?
Well, it was different at the time when they proposed to change their role and what they thought about in the areas that I could help probably more than probably they expected at the beginning. But at the end, it's about the relationships and the people, because and we have formed great teams with very different qualities, and some that have been more on certain things, and when there is somebody that is much better than me on that, I let him do it. So for me, the title doesn't really reflect the daily, probably the way we operate daily. I think is more important the people, and then the morale within that people to really understand that, okay, let's give each other the things that it can master and make us much better, and the rest we just support that idea. That's it.
Because it must have been a confidence boost for you, though, obviously in your first managerial role, to be given that extra responsibility.
Yeah, because I didn't demand it, we didn't ask for it, and they believe it was the right thing to do. But again, since there, because we have to work with different people, with the changes that we had in recent years, I think when you have a leader, which is ownership, in this case Stan and George that is very close to that, with very clear alignment to all of us, what he wants to do, how he wants to achieve it, that creates that space for everybody. I think it's very easy to work like this.
James, CBS?
I know it's been mentioned already, but going back to that game at Anfield, it felt like the reaction at the time was so immediate and visceral in terms of your perceived style. Have you looked back on that game and what did you sort of take away from it, and what do you think maybe the broader conversation got wrong?
No. I mean, your opinion, people are entitled to their opinions. Mine was different, but that's the beauty about football.
What was your opinion?
Very different.
Okay, we did the last two in the As Live. Charles, goal?
Hi, Mikel. We saw another brilliant finish from Gabriel at Bournemouth. He's now just 2 goals behind your old teammate, Laura Koscielny, in terms of record goal scorer for a defender in the Premier League for Arsenal. I'm sure you expect him to break that record pretty soon, probably, the rate he scores at. But what is it that sort of, do you think, that sets him apart from pretty much all other defenders at the moment when it comes to the art of goal scoring in the opposition box?
Desire to score, and then the amount of work that he puts in, and attention and detail to get himself in the best possible positions to do that and to execute what the game and especially certain actions are going to demand of him.
And just on Pierre Hincapie, he seems to have really sort of settled in now and adapted and stepped up in Riccardo's absence. How impressed have you been with the way he's adapted to the Premier League, especially after missing out early on through injury?
Very impressed, because obviously he came very, very late in the market without pre-season after a surgery as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been immense. I mean, for everything that we ask him to do, he's fulfilled that in various roles as well. So yeah, it's been I think it's been a big boost for the team and another step in terms of what he can bring to the team.
Phil?
Hi, Mikel. This group of players have got more points than the Invincibles managed after 20 games, more points, more goals. Obviously, you've been here a long time as a player and as a manager. Do you think that this group that you have is as good as the Invincibles, if not better?
No, because the Invincibles won a lot and they won consistently, and they created a history and legacy, and we have to do that.
But when you speak to the players, is that sort of, are they ever mentioned? Because obviously they're legends of the club, and obviously.
No, obviously there is a lot of stats, but in the last 2-3 years as well, we had stats and more points and more goals in the history of that. But at the end, we have to translate that to major trophies and what we want to do. And probably now what we are doing, it would have been enough, but now it's not enough, and we have to make it the margins even bigger, and that's what we have to aim.